Welcome to the Accessible Hunter podcast. I'm Greg Trainer along with my co-host Mike Hudson. And today we're excited to talk with Clint Lindemann. Clint, how you doing today, buddy?
Perfect. How are you guys?
Good, man. I sure appreciate you taking time out of your morning to come on the podcast. We've been following your journey for a number of years, and I thought it would be great to have you on and talk about your upcoming hunting season. But you had written about your mule deer hunt not too long ago, and I really want to get into that too. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself.
All right. Yeah, my name is Clint Lindemann, like you said. Born and raised in Enderlin, North Dakota. Still live here. And I grew up on a farm just outside of town, like 7 miles, and grew up hunting and fishing and did a lot of sports in school. And when I was 15, I was in a hunting accident. I got injured, C4, C5. I got shot in the neck and been that way ever since. So now I'm 44.
Wow. You and I are the same level injury.
Okay.
My injury is due to a diving accident, but as you know, we all have different abilities.
Yep.
Just saying C4 or 5,
It's
you
all
and I
different.
can all be different.
Yep.
Um, I know that you use adaptive equipment. I've been following your YouTube channel and things, but you
Yep.
want to talk a little bit about the equipment you use, and you've also manufactured a trigger. You can talk a little bit about that. I'm pretty excited about your trigger.
Sure. No problem. Yeah. Well, like C4, C5, everyone's different. So I'm mid chest and got elbow movement on both sides, but no tricep on my right side. But I used to be right-handed. Now I'm left-handed. I got a lot more movement on my left hand. Uh, then, like all my hunting stuff, I had a friend buy a rifle mount that was manufactured. I can't remember where it's from, but and then my dad adapted it to my chair. We got that figured out. And then crossbow, I went to a Twist of Fate, it's a disabled archery hunt in North Dakota. They gave me a crossbow and told me you're going to hunt. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to hunt. But then pretty soon my dad figured out a way that I could hunt with it. He mounted it to my chair and it's attached to a window scope mount. So it pivots up and down. So I aim with my chin and got an elongated trigger on that one. So that's what I used to pull the trigger. And then, but we were saying the problem with the rifle was I couldn't think of anything that would work for my fingers. I couldn't get it in the trigger guard.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried string. We tried coat hanger on my splint. We tried, well, many things that probably weren't too safe. But then, a couple of my friends and relatives were all standing around staring at it for a while. That's where we came up with that trigger that just trips it. I call it the elongated trigger. It just it's like a fulcrum. It just
Mm-hmm.
the lever comes back and it trips the trigger and attaches to the bottom of the trigger guard. I've had it on 4 or 5 different rifles and works on my crossbow real well. Just attaches with 2 little set screws, and I've given them out. I don't know how many, 30 or 40 people contact me on YouTube, and they'll see it if they ask if they can have one. And I had it manufactured at a local school of science college, so they put together like 20 of them just for like a class project,
Mm-hmm.
and just send them out for free. And they work, they work. They don't, they don't. Sometimes they send them back. Sometimes they give them to someone else to try. So
Right. I know that you've sent me one, and I'm really appreciative of it because it's going to go on my 22 rifle. I've got a
perfect.
couple of groundhogs around a new property I was lucky enough to get into this summer, and I figure I'm going to leave that as my farm gun, and I can't wait to shoot it after archery season. I don't want to mess with my setup, with my crossbow right now, but I know this
Gotcha.
summer I'm going to do a little bit of groundhog hunting with it, and we'll post a picture of it in the comments and things whenever we post the podcast.
Yep. And have you tried the trigger? I mean, does it work?
I haven't tried it on my rifle yet,
Okay,
but
gotcha.
I've got it set up. So that's half the battle. And one of
Perfect.
the things that's really nice about your trigger is you don't have to rely on batteries. It doesn't
Right.
have any plastic parts.
Yep.
I mean, you could take this thing anywhere, any type of environment, and I think it's gonna work. You know,
It's pretty simple.
it's simple but effective.
Exactly. Yep. But besides that, then my everything mounts to my chair with like one bolt, so it's pretty simple, easy on, easy off. Then I just have someone cock my crossbow and then get set my blind, and I'm good for a couple hours.
That's exactly what I do, and I know Mike's really into being as independent as possible too. So once we all get set up, we're pretty much good to go, right, Mike?
Absolutely, man. You know that uh, being outdoors is always a factor that we love to talk about. But seeing just like Clint said, it's all about making adaptations so we can easily get back out um, and be as independent as we can, even with hand limitations, hand dexterity issues. It doesn't mean that outdoors are off limits. We just have to figure out new ways to go. Um, and I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm excited for Clint's trigger to try him out on a couple different things. I've talked to Clint on social media for a good little while now. Excited to see, not only the deer that he has stacked up behind him, but hearing more about this mule deer, man.
Yeah, that was
It,
entertaining.
and we talk about this all the time too, Clint, that we all do things a little bit differently.
Mm.
You get used to doing something how you like it, and you have a high degree of confidence in your equipment. So whether you're using a string, a coat hanger, a sip and puff,
Yeah,
the elongated trigger, once you get into a system that you have confidence in and you're practicing, man, you're ready to go. I mean, that's the bottom line. You are ready to go.
exactly. Yep. That's it. Well, more than half the battle. Once you find the equipment that works for you, that's just like you got to get out and check other people's stuff and go to
Mm.
like different disabled hunts. Like pretty much every state's got a disabled hunt or
Right.
some type of fishing equipment or all that stuff. Then you see someone that's like got a puff and blow switch, you're like, and if they can do it, I should be able to do it. I mean, like they're way off, they're worse off than you are. So just got to
Right.
put your mind to it and get her done.
That's what's so excited about this format. Me and Greg have been spoiled. Meeting people where they are is the new kind of catchphrase. Being able to talk to people, and Clint, man, just following you for a while, being able to talk to people and link up exactly what you said, and kind of compare and contrast the
Yep.
number of guys, and I say guys in the loose term, that get back out and hunt and fish, get back outdoors after our injuries is kind of a small group. But we're beyond blessed in that we get to continue going on. Hadn't let our injuries slow us down as much. Just picked up, figured out new ways to go, and we go. But man, it's exciting to see, just like you said, the equipment that's coming on board, the new technology that's out there, and just seeing how somebody does it. And that might not change our way. It may just allow us to see something we could tweak to make it work even better.
Exactly. Yep. Every time I go, well, I just had a disabled archery hunt last weekend and saw some equipment down there that I've haven't seen before. It's like, geez, that would work a little bit on my fishing gear. It was not even hunting, but something else clicked in my brain. I thought, oh, that'll work perfect.
Right.
As you said, you bought a mount off of the internet, or
Yep.
you ordered it, and then you adapt it. And we're constantly adapting and seeing something that one of our friends are doing and think, hey, that would work in this situation. So you're taking it from hunting to fishing, but you're doing it. Um, well, I'm pretty excited. I don't think I can wait any longer to hear about the mule deer hunt, man. I read your blog post and it was just I wish I'd have been along with you because it sounds like one heck of a hunt. Why don't you
Oh,
tell us about this big mule deer hunt?
yeah, it was perfect. Everything went perfect. I had that I had a mule deer tag in North Dakota a couple years before, and different unit, and I didn't see anything, but I actually got to see cow elk in front of me at like 300 yards, which is amazing. First time I ever seen them in the wild, but never pulled the trigger during that hunt. And then the last time I was there was I got pneumonia, so I couldn't go. It's
Mm.
so then this last fall, I got a tag, and I had a friend out there that wanted me to come hunt, and he got me on some land. I mean, when I say land, there's like 10,000 acres of land on prime badlands. It's a whole different world from this part of the state to the western part of the state. It's all rugged, and it's they got mountain lions and everything out there. So the first couple of days we were hunting, didn't see much, but we were driving around, driving through the rivers and Little Missouri, and with my pickup, that was crazy. Uh, thing, just seeing the sights and stuff and visiting all the people out there. Got to know a lot of people very well. And the third day, it was this was going to be the last day of my hunt. Went to a different area, and it was windy. We woke up, it was like 40-mile-an-hour wind, sustained winds. Like it was blowing hard. Uh, we saw, went to, actually, we tried shooting one buck that was off a road, off a ways. And when they were putting the trigger on my buddy's rifle, we are using his 300 because it had heavier bullets to cut the wind. And we were putting that on the rifle, my trigger mount, and it went off. And I was just like a quarter inch away from hitting that little spike buck. But I was like, oh, too bad that it didn't. Well, it's probably a good thing that I didn't get that one because I got a dandy like 2 hours later. But after that, I was freezing. I mean, it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds, but 20 degrees. So, I mean, it was rough. And I was just shivering. We went to a little coffee shop and they fed me a bunch of warm food and some hot tea, got me going again. Then we went to another spot. Uh, it was still, still as windy as cold. I was like, all right, I'll give her one more try. And we found a buck at like 370 yards or something like that, a dandy, the one that I actually finally got. And the wind was so strong. I had one guy on one side of the chair, one guy on the other side of the chair. My tray was just whipping in the wind, it was just like a sail. My eyes were wet, I couldn't see anything, or just running. And like looking in the scope, and it's like I thought he was on there, but it was just bouncing, just like a sail. So I couldn't really get on. But I shot and I missed, went right over its back, but it didn't know where the shot came from. It was so windy. He just got, yeah, he came closer. He came like within 120 yards and then bedded down again. Then I went back to the vehicle, warmed up. I was like, I guess I got one more shot in me. I mean, I was still shivering, like uncontrollably. Then we got out there and I came over the ledge and just like clockwork, I mean, just perfect. My scope just went right on right when I went over the edge. And it was just, there he was. And they go, you ready? I said, I'm ready. Pulled the trigger, done. He stood up and then fell back down. But I shot
Wow.
right in his bed. Yeah. It was perfect. Yeah.
Man, that is an exciting hunt. And just so everybody's clear, being a quadriplegic, it's really difficult or almost impossible to regulate body temperature.
Yep.
Hmm.
So you're out there in, you know, 20, 30 mile an hour winds, freezing cold.
Yeah.
You said in your blog post that you were so cold that somebody had to actually help you drive your chair,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that your arms aren't working. I know
Exactly.
I know I've been in that situation where I get so cold I can't drive my chair. My arms don't move. My wife or my brother, somebody has to, assist driving my chair. And you're out there making shots. And then by the grace of God or some miracle, he comes closer to you,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
your crosshairs get on him, and you're ready to go. I mean, what an exciting hunt, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to do it again. I actually got that same tag again for this fall. So hopefully we can duplicate it again.
And you're out there crossing rivers in your pickup truck. You said in the blog post how steep the other bank was, that you didn't think you were going to make it up the bank. And I mean, this
Oh,
is like some National Geographic
it was.
excursion stuff.
Yeah, and I got all the video and stuff on my blog post. So yeah, if anyone wants to check it out, there's some good pictures and video on there.
Being quads doesn't mean we don't find ways to get into some crazy scenarios, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny the stuff we can trek through, and the number of times I've gotten in trouble for being on the back of an ATV in a trailer, and everybody's like, "How'd you get there?" And I said, "Well, legally I probably shouldn't tell you, but maybe the footage will show you later." But man, that's an awesome hunt, Clint. I know you were excited, and a lot of times it's difficult to get these chairs close to some quality animals, and especially given the elements, man. Greg hit the nail on the head. It is difficult to regulate temperatures, and man, I hate to see the temp start dropping, but at the same token, I get excited because hey, fall is here and deer are moving. But
Yeah.
what's your next hunt, man? What you got coming up?
Well, I just got our bow season in North Dakota started September 1st. I haven't been out yet, but that goes till January. So I'm not pushing it too hard. But then I just have that mule deer rifle tag out west, and that starts second week in November. So
Gotcha.
hopefully the weather isn't too bad by then. But yeah, and then when we left that last year coming back, then a blizzard hit, and it took us 2 extra hours to get home. So probably around 6 hours instead of 4. So we left right at the perfect time. At least it
Be,
wasn't snowing when it was blowing 40 miles an hour.
because you're talking about such vast amounts of land. I mean, you were hunting on a 10,000 acre property. You probably do a lot of like spot and stalk with a
Oh, yeah.
vehicle type thing.
We
So,
drove around all day long, and that's all we did was class, class, class. Yep.
so you got to have some quality optics, and
Yep.
you log a lot of miles where I basically sit in a ground blind, and have to do a little bit of scouting, and hope that deer or turkey comes into my shooting area. Mike, you're pretty much the same way in South Carolina with ground blind hunting, right?
Yeah. When we go out to Texas, those guys, they got so much property they glass. You got thousands and thousands of acres, but South Carolina's small. You got smaller plots. So you do a lot of scouting via just trail cams, food places. Yeah, but you don't glass a lot out here.
Yeah, like our bows were like I do a lot of sitting, with bow. I don't do any have a lot of trail cameras out. But yeah. But like rifle season, there's too much area to be sitting anywhere in one spot anyway. In western North Dakota. On the eastern part, that's a little different story, but yeah.
When you had said he came in close at 120 yards, see that's a far shot for me. I mean, I'm usually like 60 yards, 80 yards. So if I get anything over 100 or 150, 200 yards, that's a long shot for us Eastern guys.
I guess. Yeah, that's crazy to think about how different the hunting is. Yeah.
A totally different hunting style. And
Mm.
I know that you're the president of a wildlife club too, and you guys do a lot, with veterans, and put on some hunts and things. You want to tell us a little bit about your involvement with that?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I was secretary for many years before I became president. I think I became president like 12 years ago or something like that. And I think it's one of those gigs that there's only one way you can get out of it. You either move away or you end up in a coffin or something, because I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get rid of that one. But yeah, we put on a lot of youth events. we just did a youth fishing derby in town, and this Saturday we have a youth pheasant hunt that start. Well, yeah, I think we got like 12 kids signed up, and like last Monday we had some veterans from the veterans home over that we just got a. The town just built a or put in a fishing pier out of the river, so that was really handy. I think there were 7 veterans that came over and fished. Hopefully, we'll do that a lot more in the future. But we do 2 banquets a year. Every month we have something out at the range, and yeah, we're pretty busy all the time. Keeps me busy anyway.
And definitely sounds like you stay busy, and they got the right man for the job. At least they know they got somebody in there that cares about the people and is gonna put his money where his mouth is. The kicker is you probably hit the nail on the head. They're gonna have to run you off to get you out of there now.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Clint, you get to interact with so many people, and as you kind of said earlier, there's always somebody worse off than us. I mean, whenever you and I get to meet somebody that's a higher level injury, we realize that we're kind of lucky sometimes that we have arm movement and can kind of aim and things like that. But do you ever find, like, how do people like see you as a hunter? Do you ever run into any assumptions, or do you have to educate people that, hey, you're still capable of doing this? Or have you ever had any of those experiences?
Yeah. Sometimes, but yeah, mostly they're like just amazed at what I can do. They're like, are you going hunting? I was like, yeah. By yourself? I was like, yep. And they have no clue what someone in a wheelchair is capable of doing. And they just assume, but you're not supposed to assume anything. But yeah, a couple of times I had to tell people straight, I'm actually doing this. This is my tag. I'm pulling the trigger. I'm the one out there hunting. It's nobody else. It's just all me. Like, all right, yeah, whatever.
Definitely an opportunity to educate the general public on what hunting is all about, and we all may do it a different way, but at our core we're still hunters.
Exactly.
It's your tag, and that's a great way of putting it. It's your tag, it's your hunt, and you decide what animals you're going to go after and when you're going to take the shot.
Yep, for sure.
Clint, what advice would you give somebody that's newly injured or thinking about getting out in the outdoors from your perspective?
Well, just kind of like I mentioned earlier, but go out and take advantage of some of these disabled hunts and disabled fishing stuff. And I bet every state's got to have at least 1 or 2 different events that are designated just for disabled. And also each take advantage of some of the special tags and that each state has game and fish department. Pretty sure every fish and game department has a disabled section, whether you're a veteran or whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, there's seems like every state, and a lot of states are a lot more like crossbow friendly. Like Wyoming, you could hunt anything in Wyoming with crossbow. Doesn't matter what season it is. Like some
Yeah.
states are, you got to be disabled or be over age limit to shoot a crossbow, which doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, probably different on the eastern part of the states. But I don't know. But like North Dakota, you got to be either disabled or older than 65 or something like that to shoot a crossbow, or get a permit from your doctor or something like that. But like, just tell people to get out there and explore and try new things. You
Right.
know,
That's great advice, man. That's you again, you hit the nail on the head, you hit the target, if you will. It's all about just getting out and rediscovering a new vigor for life. We have to figure out those things that make our clocks tick and new ways to keep going. Clint, man, I truly appreciate your time and all that you're doing to educate people and push your group. Um, Man, it's exciting to see what you got going on and hear more and more about all the hunts. It's truly always a pleasure to be able to reconnect with some guys, man. And I'll definitely be tagging you up and keeping up with you. more and more, and hopefully we can get out to see you out there on the plains somewhere.
Okay, perfect. That would be awesome. Yeah. Like, thank you guys for the opportunity here. It was a
Well,
good time.
Clint, thank you so much for telling your story, buddy. You know, I just get so excited hearing about hunts out west. I've never been out that far hunting.
Right.
I've hunted in Kansas, but you know, it's just a totally different experience. And when I read your story, it just was so exciting to me. If people have any questions, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Would you be willing to talk with people about hunting in
Yep.
North Dakota?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I can give you my email or whatever. You can put that on the link or whatever. I share a lot my Facebook page too. Clint Lindemann, just find me somewhere. I'm all over. So
Perfect. Well, Clint, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. And we'll be following you and looking for what you're tagging out on this fall.
perfect. Thanks, guys.